Take it
We're
from the
gonna
top.
redraft the 2011 NBA draft. We were thinking about doing the 2014 draft. That's why it threw me off. We're talking about Embiid and Jokic. 2011, the first overall pick, Kyrie Irving. Second overall pick, it really starts to fall off a cliff after that. So we'll stop there. But among Kyrie Irving, this draft class had Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler, Nikola Vucevic, Isaiah Thomas, and just about half a dozen more All Stars. I mean, to me, this is probably one of the
Time out.
10 best
Time out,
drafts we've
please.
had.
Time out. Time out. That was your subconscious. You're seeing that right there, Justin. I want you to take that into your mind. A name he didn't mention, okay, for next week's debate for the shooting guards and the constant debate that me and John will probably have for years to come about Klay Thompson. He didn't mention him. That was his subconscious. He disrespects Klay Thompson over and over again. I just had to say that.
I also left out Kemba Walker too, and I said there's many
All right,
more
don't
All
do that. I
Stars.
mean, come on.
Well, yeah, Clay Thompson has a much better career, but Kemba was an All NBA player.
All right, let's go.
Let's stop. Let's stop. Let's just
So
move on.
how are we gonna do this? Who's gonna have the first overall pick?
Let's do it the way Brandon set it up for the
I don't have a dice, dude.
no dice today.
Rock paper scissors. Is that how we're doing this? Through
Tried
virtual.
that last time, John.
Yeah, it's not,
How are
okay.
we gonna do this?
Did anybody not go first overall? Who didn't get
John
to go
had-
first overall?
You haven't gone first, have you?
I haven't. I think I went second and then third.
Yeah, John. I don't think I got Tom Brady in that draft one time.
Okay.
Yep.
I got
So all right, so let's go. John go first. I don't think I've gone third,
Okay, that's fine. I got it.
and
Yeah.
then Justin can go second. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I'll go.
Cool.
Even though I was really
John
looking forward
won.
to this rock paper scissors matchup.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
We tried it last time. It was an epic fail. We all couldn't. The time delay just.
That really threw us off.
Justin being gun shy with the way you guys are cheating. Dude.
Yeah. 1 John, 2 J Ray, 3 B Cap, with the first overall pick in the 2011 NBA redraft.
Cleveland Cavaliers select.
Kawhi Leonard.
Hey.
You really thought I was going Jimmy Butler? I was thinking about it. No one wasn't. Kawhi Leonard is the best perimeter defender I've seen in my time watching basketball. But at the same time, since he was drafted in the last 11 years, he has, by the age of 30 years old, become one of the most prolific scorers. Even as a playmaker or Chauncey Billups, he's taken those leaps to be a 27, 6, and 5 guy that'll shut you down. Your best player, doesn't matter who it is, he can do it virtually against anybody. The hands, discipline, focus, and most notably, the skill set. This is one of the most complete players we have ever seen. Easily a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, this guy, to me, is the greatest shooting, not the greatest shooting guard, the greatest small forward I've seen outside LeBron and Kevin Durant. I think he's number 3 right there. And so, to me, this is an easy number 1 overall pick. You made it too easy on me. I mean, we're going to pair him up in Cleveland with, let me think, no one post LeBron leaving, but that's okay because this is a franchise player and he's going to make us a contender.
Okay, yeah, that was definitely an easy pick to go with there. I don't think any of us would have refuted. Maybe Brandon. No, you would have went Kawhi there.
Listen, you're talking to one of the biggest Kawhi fans out there.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the claw, man. There's no hate in his game. But I think this is pretty easy for me too at number 2. I need somebody that's not going to play just half the games. So I'm going to go for my second overall pick. This man was drafted 30th in this round in this year's in the 2011 draft. So I'm going to roll with Jimmy Buckets, man. How could you not? I think when the guy came in the league, I still remember when he came into the league, all he was known for was his defense. The guy couldn't score a bucket. I believe he averaged almost 3 points a game in his rookie season and then upgraded up to 8. And then the next, 13. And then since then, he's been almost a constant 20 points per game scorer. He's not only one of the best defenders, 5-time all defense in the league, but he's a lethal scorer and can take over a game at any second. I know when we first started this podcast, I was giving a lot of love to Jason Tatum, and I put Jason Tatum over Jimmy in my rankings, but Jimmy Buckets is one of the more talented, well-rounded NBA players today, and I'll say it right now, he's a surefire Hall of Famer in the future as well.
One thing I want to add, this is a player that will rise up to the occasion every single time in the playoffs. Let me say this. when Jimmy Butler signed in Miami in the summer of 2019, Brandon, did you expect him to bring you guys to the playoffs in his first year at the team?
I'm trying to think back to that team.
Rookie Tyler Hero, third year Bam.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Did you
Yes. I
expect him
expected them to make it to the playoffs.
to bring you to the conference finals and then the NBA finals?
The NBA Finals one more so because of the situation
In
and how
2020?
yeah,
You
for how he
expected
played
that?
out. Yeah. Over like if you're asking throughout the course of the season, yes.
That was before they got Jay Crowder and Iggy. I I was saying they would be a 6 seed. I was not thinking they would be a legitimate contender in 2020, 2019, 2020.
That might
Maybe
be my team bias talking, but yeah.
Justin, you're not a Heat fan. When Jimmy Butler signed to Miami in 2019, did you expect him to bring that team to the
No,
finals?
no, I hadn't seen. I've seen that dog in him. I just didn't see this guy taking this team to the chip.
Let's remember he was criticized because Philadelphia couldn't get over the hump. And remember Kawhi Leonard, my guy, he may not play over 40 games, but in the playoffs, Jimmy couldn't guard him. So I'll take that over. One thing I will say here, though, is people were low on Jimmy, and he brings Miami to the conference finals in 2 or 3 seasons. The year in between, when Bryn Forbes outscored him in the playoffs, yeah, it was the Bryn Forbes series. He was also completely gassed because he had a 2.5 month off season. I mean, that's unprecedented. And so, of course, through injuries, protocol, and of course losing a few key players and Jay Crowder and what have you, the Heat were bound for regression because they overachieved in 2020. But then this last season, if it weren't for Kyle Lowry and Tyler Hero being hurt, they would have been playing the NBA Finals. Jimmy Butler is the ultimate playoff riser to me. I mean, you don't see this too often with a guy that just consistently steps up in the clutch.
Listen, I ain't never gonna stop you from talking about my Miami Heat and my boy Jimmy Buckets in a positive way. Tell him, John. Don't be disrespecting my boy Jimmy Buckets. All right, but my pick now, right? So the number 3 overall pick to the Utah Jazz. Oh God. I think it's pretty easy. I mean, for me it is. I'm taking second greatest 3-point shooter of all time, in my opinion, Klay Thompson. Don't look at me wide eyed, Justin. All right. In his heyday, in his prime, before the injuries, he's a top 5 two-way player in the NBA. He give you 20 plus points a night, and he's guarded the best offensive player on the opposing team. It's a guy who, before this season, every season before that, shot 40% or more from 3-point land. I mean, we don't have to get. Do I need to get into 37 in one quarter? Do I need to get into what was it? Let me get it right. 60 points in 29 minutes, 3 quarters. And look, just for clarification, do you guys know how many dribbles he took that entire game?
7.
11
Wow.
dribbles to get 60 points in 29 minutes. Okay,
So here's my question for you.
uh,
Who is setting him up for these buckets if he's not playing with the greatest shooter, one of the greatest playmakers, if
I mean,
he's only taking 7
I don't know,
dribbles?
John. I mean, I
11.
think we underappreciate Klay Thompson's off-ball movement too. It's just as good as a Steph Curry's. His the I always think of a Bam Adebayo or more prominent a Draymond Green where he does the slight handoff and Curry coming around the back of him and he sets the pick and whatever and shoots off of them. Yeah, I a player can do that. A power forward or center can do that. You can that's not a very obviously you can't you know what I mean though. Klay Thompson off ball movement is just as deadly as a Steph Curry. Like it doesn't work without Klay Thompson either. Klay, listen. I mean, we saw. All right. Let me bring a name to you. Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller wasn't that much better than Klay Thompson in his handles and making plays off the dribble and whatnot. He was able to lead an Indiana team to the finals.
Do you know who his point guard on that team was?
Who's his point guard, John?
Mark Jackson. One of the best
Okay.
playmakers in the game.
But who is the dog on that team? Who is the guy?
It was Reggie.
Okay. If Mark Jackson and Klay Thompson played together, who would be the guy on that team? Be Klay Thompson. Don't see again. That's not even a question. That shouldn't be a question.
I do think it's a. I don't think I would have went Reggie.
No. If Mark Jackson and Klay were on the team,
Oh, okay.
no
okay.
Reggie. That's not a
Right, you're right.
question, dude. Come
You're right.
on. Yeah. Don't even think about that, John. Klay Thompson is just as good as these guys. Like, especially don't even just think. Forget the offense. What he can do defensively, or 1 through 3 at a high level. They should call this guy Mr. Fundamentals because he doesn't beat himself. You have to beat Klay Thompson.
I think he's the perfect complement. I'm not going to discredit Klay Thompson because he's a terrific basketball player, but I don't think he's turning my franchise around.
I'm
That's
not
just always
saying
what
he's
my
going to
opinion's
turn
been.
the franchise. Well, you know what? Forget about it. We'll never know. Okay, we'll never know. We'll never know, right? We'll never know.
You two arguing about Klay Thompson, dude. I could literally just listen to it all
Listen,
day.
don't worry. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. The disrespect for Klay Thompson ends.
I'm just
next
being
week.
real with him, my friend.
No,
if he gets drafted by
ends.
the Kings, post
You're
Demarcus
lying.
Cousins, he's
The
not
words that
not
are
going
coming
anywhere.
out of your mouth are lies about Klay Thompson.
We're gonna have this debate, aren't we?
You're lying to the people right now.
Tune in next week for this boxing match between John Tortorelli and Brandon Capizello.
All right. I have the 4th pick, all right, because we're going snake style,
Yep.
right? Okay. So John for the Cleveland Cavaliers with his first pick took Kawhi. So he set me up good because there's only one guy to take, right? I mean, Uncle Drew himself, Kyrie
There
Irving.
we go.
So, I mean, if you that would literally turn around Cleveland's fortunes. Not almost instantly because Kawhi took a couple of years to develop and whatnot, but you know what I mean. Like that would turn the franchise around. And who was to say if LeBron would have came back? Dear God, could you imagine a Kyrie, Kawhi, and LeBron Cleveland Cavaliers team? They might break the 73-9 record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what's so interesting about these things? So I always, when we do these redrafts, I'm a big proponent of if you put a player in a specific spot, they may not be the same. So when I think of Kawhi, is he the same player without Popovich? You know, like, are we going to see the claw? Probably not.
Hell no.
You know, he got to play with potentially 3 Hall of Famers: Tim Duncan, Manu, Tony Parker.
Did you say no, John?
Hell no. I think we under it with all those players. It wasn't just those guys, but he also got to spend time with Pau Gasol, LaMarcus Aldridge, of course Greg Popovich, but Chip Engelland, one of the best shooting coaches in the NBA, and most importantly, the structure to come in as a role player, and then as the Hall of Famers fade out of the picture, that's when his responsibilities are properly, slowly being risen up. So I think much like Jimmy Butler, he was a natural place to grow. So I would say no.
Yeah, that's a perfect point. Like when you mentioned Jimmy Butler, like him without Tibbs, you put him in Minnesota with that. I believe who was the head coach at the time? Was it Flip?
Tibbs.
No, was it Flip?
It was Tibbs, but
in
before him it
2011
was. In 2011
from Minnesota.
Yeah, I think it was. I'm pretty sure. Flip.
Yeah,
Let me check.
but my point is, yeah. So this is all fun and games and all that, but if we were to put this into real action, I wonder if any of these players are anything close to what they are today.
Well, Kyrie is going to be what he is.
It was not Flip. It was Kurt Rambis. In,
okay.
2011.
So. The guy who's freaking behind the scenes with the Lakers, who's one of the guys who's messing everything up. The freaking Rambises. Oh my God.
Good thing the Lakers had them behind the scenes.
PSA, Genie Bus, stop listening to the Rambises.
The Rambi?
Please.
Let's cut that out.
Oh, sorry for drifting. Well,
Never.
Go ahead, Justin.
Isn't it John? Oh no, it is.
No, you're second. You got the Toronto Raptors.
Okay. Maybe this is crazy, but I don't think it's that crazy. I'm gonna go with one of the more underrated big men in the game. I feel like we look at Embiid, we look at Jokic. And it's, they could pass, they could score with ease, they score with grace, I'd say. But I'm gonna go with Nikola Vucevic. Vucevic, when he came into the league, he was always a good big man. He could always consistently rebound. But over time, not only was he just a great rebounder, but the guy was putting points on the board. He became an offensive force for Orlando. And I vividly remember games where he would cook us in the garden. I don't know what's up with that. People walk into the garden and they just get blessed with 99 overall talent. But he would roast us. We couldn't grab a rebound for crap because this guy was just eating the boards too. I think Vucevic is very underrated, and it's no surprise to me why Chicago traded for him this year because they thought that was somebody that could put them over the top. But I would love Vucevic. Vucevic on any team will make you better. So with that number 5th pick, I'm gonna go with Vuce. I think he got drafted 23rd overall. Yeah,
By Philadelphia, he was in that Dwight Howard 4-team trade that sent Andre Iguodala to Denver, and then Andrew Bynum to Philadelphia, and Bynum consequently got not consequently immediately got into a bowling incident and never played in the NBA again. So there's your fun fact for the
Fun
day.
fact for the day.
I'll be honest with you, Justin. You really threw a wrench in there to me because I fully expected you to take Kemba for the Raptors.
I'm
I really did, and you leave me in a rough spot
Hey,
at
who do you expect him to take?
Kemba.
Kemba
Oh, Kemba.
because I can't pair Kemba Walker and John Wall together. So it's like the Wizards in this draft, they took Jan Vesely. Do you guys remember Jan Vesely?
Mhm.
No.
I don't. Well, actually, I do remember his draft night
Yeah,
moment.
that's
That
just
was
how I
pretty
remember
good.
him being drafted.
Yeah, that's really yeah. Not to disrespect him, they can't do any worse than that pick. So soon after they take Bradley Beal the following year in 2012. So there's no Bradley Beal. There is no Otto Porter because he was taken in 2013. Yeah, you really I was hoping you took Kemba so I could take Vooch to pair up with John Wall. Obviously, I can't take Isaiah Thomas. I don't want another point guard.
There's another big man you could take that was.
Yeah, I'm not going there, Jonas Valanciunas. If that's where you're thinking, or Tobias Harris.
You could go Tobias.
Yeah, I think he's so okay. Maybe I'm a Tobias Harris hater. You really did. You really did. Okay, 6 overall pick. I'm taking Tobias Harris for the Wizards. God, I didn't want to take him in the top 6. I think Tobias Harris is a do-it-all forward that can score in a few different types of ways. Good shooter, though he's very reluctant. Defensively, he's grown into a capable perimeter defender, not a very good rebounder. Tobias, in a place where you're not trying to contend, is pretty good. If you're paying him all the money in the world, he's ideally a pretty poor fit on any team. But hey, I mean, as a young player, he was thrown around. He never got the stability as being in one place and grow with a fellow star some stability. And though there wasn't a whole lot in Washington, John Wall and Toby playing together would have been so much fun. And the good news was he wasn't NBA ready immediately necessarily, so they still would have been pretty bad to get a top pick again in 2012. I really want. I want Vooch here. 'Cause I think Vooch is way better. Vooch is very underrated, though it's tough to be the third fiddle in Chicago, which part why I had a bad year. Tobias Harris here at 6 overall pick. I don't feel great about it, but I don't know who else I was going with.
All right, back to back, John. You got the Sacramento Kings.
Oh, so the Kings. Who did they take in this class? Let me think.
Biombo.
They did, and then they traded him in this convoluted deal, and they in turn got Jimmer for debt. Biombo went his ways. Biombo probably would have been as much of a blah pick. The Kings really, did they have anything 2011? No, not really. They had
was
Demarcus
Cousins.
Cousins. They had Demarcus Cousins when he was
Yeah, so why
young.
the hell would they draft another center?
I believe they moved Biombo, and Vlade Divac was running the team
That's
back
just so
then.
stupid, though.
No, it was Pete D'Alessandro. Vlade Divac would come in and continue the
You
obsession.
have Kemba Walker sitting on the board right there from UConn, who just made didn't he make that clutch ass shot right there for
In the
Connecticut
guard?
for UConn? Yeah, to win the championship. And you take a center after taking Demarcus. This is why these are mid franchises, John. I'm sorry.
Jamarcus was slow to develop. Tyreek
doesn't
Evans
matter.
had a better rookie year. Now, Tyreek, he quickly faded out of existence after his first year.
All right, so John,
We're going Kemba.
are you gonna rewrite the wrong right now and take Kemba Walker?
7th overall pick, the Sacramento Kings take not Bismack Biyombo, Kemba Walker out of
Thank
UConn.
you.
Kemba and Boogie will be an awesome pairing. Now, Boogie, like I said before, when I said they had nothing, it was because Boogie as a rookie, he was good, 14-9, but he really wasn't blowing people away until his 4th year in 2014. And that was right before they started putting him in trade rumors. And we never got to see Boogie fully take off. Side note, Demarcus Cousins may have the most underrated and forgotten peak of the last 20 years.
Yes. That man was the best big man in the league for the years that he was at his height of powers.
And then he gets paired with Anthony Davis. He had some monster performances when those two players were playing together. And shortly then after, injuries. One after another. The meniscus, the torn ACL, the dude can never catch a break. And
Heelys, I think, too.
he was just 26, 27 years old. Think about how young the guy was. And he was just beginning to really establish himself as an All NBA player.
He was a stud, dude. I mean, he could do it all. He really could. All right. So with this 8th overall pick, I got the Detroit Pistons. They took Brandon Knight, probably more famous for
Hey, am I up?
being on a. No, I'm up. Oh wait. Oh no, yep, it is you.
Isn't
My
it?
bad. That's my bad, Justin. That's my bad. I'm
Trying
about to take your
to
shine.
steal my shine.
I'm next.
But I believe you just mentioned Brandon Knight. Am I right?
Yeah.
So this man played for how many teams? Brandon Knight.
Oh, Brandon Knight.
Yeah, I believe six
Six?
NBA teams. So I think it's fair to say that Detroit wishes they drafted another guard that night who went the very next pick to Charlotte. So I'm gonna right a wrong, and I'm gonna take Kemba Walker.
You take Kemba Walker.
He's off the
Oh
board, baby.
crap, yo! I just had like a super brain fart.
Oh boy.
Super brain fart. Oh, that throws a wrench in my brain. All right, so my backup.
There's two other point
Yeah,
guards.
so I'm
David
gonna go
Stern.
with the other one. I'll go with the other point guard who has turned into a very fine and he's made a lot of money in the league now. I'm gonna go with Reggie Jackson, man. Reggie Jackson has been awesome, and honestly, last season with all the things going on with the Clippers, missing Kawhi and missing PG, he really stepped up. He showed that he could be a dog. He can lead a team. He can be a number one point guard for a championship contender, and I believe that dude is super talented. I love Reggie Jackson. He's had a way better career than Brandon Knight, and I guess the statement still stands. I think Detroit wishes they went with another point guard that night and they had a chance at Kemba or Reggie.
Whether it was David Stern or Adam Silver, they're looking at you funny when you're saying, I'm taking another point guard here. Reggie Jackson, last year, Clippers fans fell in love with that dude. Above all else, he is so much fun to root for. And in the NBA bubble, truly, or was it, no, it was 2021, excuse me. That was one of the most exciting lightning in a bottle things we've seen, where the dude just completely takes off and brings a franchise long PG to the conference finals. This is a dude that's had playoff moments, and he's just now really becoming a starting point guard. If you forget in Detroit, so many injuries plagued him after he signed with them or was traded there. And it feels like we were kind of robbed a little bit of one of the most fun guards in the game that sure is volatile, but the dude can give you a bucket on any given night.
Absolutely. That's a guy I wish the Knicks had.
He is a culture setter. I mean, this last season he shot like 39%, but what he brings to a team is truly electric. And on his hot nights, you're saying this dude must close every single time. He is a closer, man. He's underrated in a way. I wouldn't overrate him, but what he can bring to a team is underrated.
Right. So with the 9th pick overall for the Charlotte Bobcats. So we can't get Reggie. We can't get Kyrie. We can't get Kemba. So they're gonna take the last pick in the NBA draft of this year. Of that year, I mean. IT Isaiah Thomas. Now I know the sample size is pretty short before the injury fell off, had him falling off, but this is a guy who averaged 29 points first season, 6 assists, almost a steal a game, 46% from the field at 5'9", mind you, 38% from three, and 91% from the free throw line. Say what you want about his size, say what you want about what happened after Boston, but listen, man, if that hip injury never happens, or if it does happen and he doesn't play through it, which I think caused it to be much worse than it actually would have been, I think his career pans out differently. So I take Isaiah Thomas at number 9.
Boston really screwed him. Justin, are you still happy with your Reggie Jackson pick? Because I completely drew a blank that Isaiah was taken.
No, I knew he was on the board. I actually spoke to Brandon. I was questioning, does he have him in the top 10? Because I was debating whether or not I should have him there. He just misses for me.
It depends on team. Boston was the perfect place for him. And we saw in Phoenix, like, if you don't put him around like the perfect defensive players that can really like cover him in a blanket, that dude in the postseason, while he can lead you there, he's not going to lead you very far. So, Brandon, is this my pick or is this yours?
This is the
It's
last
the last
pick.
pick. So I think we should all make a
so
pick.
It's a valid
do we
point.
all make a pick?
My number one player left on the board is Boyan Bogdanovich. I think he's one of the more underrated players.
I'm with you. I think he was a better player off the bench than Jordan Clarkson.
Joe Ingles. The
The
Joe Ingles
only
should have won 6-man.
the
Oh, my
only
bad, my
other
bad, my bad,
person
my
that
bad.
I
Yeah, I'm
would
off today. Sheesh.
It is late. To be fair, I mean, Boyan was not very good that season. He struggled, and I think he's come back from an injury. So, and
the
plus
only
there's
player
Joe
that I
Tsai.
would even argue with him is Marcus Morris, because he's a very good 3-and-D player. He's going to bring the intensity. He's going to bring that that dog that you want on every championship team.
For Milwaukee, you can, if you want a points and rebounds guy, Jonas Valanciunas is the best option here as well.
Oh, I forgot about Valanciunas. Actually, yeah, you know what? No, yeah, take best player available.
Great
Valanciunas.
locker room guy too. You're going Valanciunas?
So we agree on Valanciunas.
So I'm with you guys. I'm with John on Bogdanovich, but I'm a big
Oh, just stop. Just
I
don't.
feel like I like championship caliber pieces. So pieces that can win you a
Marcus Morris.
I was gonna say yes, Marcus Morris. I think he's another under the radar pick that we could have gone there at 10. I think Bogdanovich is the best option, but Marcus Morris would make a nice 11.
Yeah. Well, it's what you know what, John. You make it. Marcus Morris, Bogdanovich, or Valanciunas.
For Milwaukee, we're talking about here.
Yeah. Who's they taking?
They really just need a franchise player, and none of these guys are remotely close to that.
Yeah.
You know who led them in points and minutes in the 2010-11 season?
Monte Ellis? No, I'm years off. I'm off. I don't know.
Minutes was Andrew Bogut, and points was Brandon Jennings.
Brandon Jennings was so good.
Oh, Oh my God, Brandon Jennings.
A year before was John Salmons, who led them in points and minutes. So no matter what we do here, this is a blah pick.
Yeah.
We have Andrew Bogut. He had was Bogut the one with the injuries we're talking about? Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah.
He was out of there by 2012. So Valanciunas, I'm not opposed to because he would replace Bogut. Quite honestly, I think I'm going Valanciunas here.
All right. Let's do it.
I don't know, it's tough. I like win players more. I guess you guys okay with that on the board?
Let the board talk to you, as John says.
Let the board speak to you, I think. From
Speak
John
to you, my
Dorsey.
bad. Jonas Valanciunas is speaking.
That's fine. I won't refute.